Any brothers had a question? Are they not going to thing? Sister have a mic.
Ma'am,
Okay.
one of the sisters do have a question back here.
Okay. You can go ahead whenever you're ready, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Question in reference to the intentions before fasting. Did you state that you make your intentions on the first day of Ramadan and that lasts throughout the month, or is it every morning?
Clear. Wa yakum. The safest thing to do is to make your intentions every morning. If you make your intentions in the beginning of the month and you have a full month, you don't travel, or a woman doesn't get a menstrual cycle or anything like that, that's sufficient. As far as if you stop fasting for a reason, make your intention again for the remainder of the month. And making the intentions, it isn't something which is very long and burdensome. There's nothing that's verbalized. You don't say it, you don't have to declare it. You're eating suhoor, it's already known to yourself why you're doing it. But the benefit comes in if you oversleep. Or if you're not eating suhoor, if your stomach is upset, or you're not hungry. Wallahu alam.
I got a question.
Okay.
I like classic cars, right? And, you know, I might drive down the road to myself, that's a nice car, man. Am I showing off? I mean, I like the car for me. I bought the car for me. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I put Allah first. I put my family first. But, you know, I want to get the car painted. I want to jazz it up.
MashaAllah.
Am I showing off?
Allah is beautiful and Allah loves beauty.
I mean, am I guilty of having that?
The Prophet ﷺ was asked. He said a man, he likes for his clothes to be nice, his garment to be nice, his shoes to be nice. Is that pride? He said Allah is beautiful and Allah loves beauty. Beauty is a thing. Liking nice things, having what Allah gave you, isn't haram. And it doesn't necessarily have to be showing off. Even though showing off, that's a vague term. That's a vague term. The Imam who recites the Salah and he recites beautifully, someone says he's showing off. He's commanded to recite the Quran beautifully. Eating good food, dressing well, you're showing off, speaking well. I can say anybody and everything, anybody is showing off. You invite me to your house, you want to honor your guests. I say he's showing off. So many people, they abuse the term. They abuse it. And I'll say this as a fact, most people, when they accuse other people of showing off, is because they're jealous and insecure. And the general rule is, when people play the spiritual high ground, that game of looking down and pointing down on you, is because they're trying to keep the eyes from being pointed on them. So I have to attack your religion, make you feel bad, make you look bad because of my problems, my insecurities. So most people who accuse people of showing off, they themselves want what you have. So it's not necessarily, no, it's not haram to have a nice car, a classic car, to have it waxed, 67, 69, whatever area it's from. MashaAllah. You got some rims on it, or Allah is beautiful and what? He loves beauty, and chrome is beautiful. Whack it. Wallahu alam. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
We say we're going to take one question from the back and forth, inshallah, okay? Sisters, y'all have a question?
No.
Okay, go ahead. Who was first?
It was him,
Traveling, fasting, and mine's more just a comment of actually confirming from the Imam in reference to the question. Isn't the answer is in your intention in reference to showing off?
Now, the intention, like we said, is supreme. A big part of that. Wallahu alam.
When traveling, fasting, if you don't travel, you may leave out of a certain jurisdiction, and you may not go as far. What would be the norm to say you have to break your fast?
Understood. Well, the question with regards to traveling, when are you allowed to break your fast? What's considered traveling to start breaking your fast, etc.? When you leave your town, your city, your locale with the intention of traveling. But the question is now, what's considered leaving my town? We don't live in villages and castles behind walls anymore. It's a bit different now. So I would say tolls. Anytime you're paying a toll, you're traveling. Anytime you're crossing a very large bridge, you're traveling. Anytime the postal code is different, you're traveling. All right? What's important is I'm leaving my home with the niyyah of going on a journey. The niyyah, again, the intention. And I've passed by my locale. It's well known, it's established, you're no longer in your area anymore. All right? Whether that's defined through mileage or defined through culture. And other scholars, if not most of them, they hold the view that it's based off of mileage. And that's 80 kilometers. So a very long distance. You're driving from your home to the road for what, 50 miles, 60 miles? That's a very long trip. And then they say you can't break your fast until what? You've cut through 50 miles of road. The opinion that I follow to be almost correct is that traveling is based off of the custom of the people. What the people consider to be a road trip, what the people consider to be traveling. I'm going to this little province here, this little area here, it's not traveling. Versus I'm paying a $20 toll, a bridge, easy pass. Police pulls me over, it's a whole different type of state trooper. I'm on the road, we're on the road, roadside assistance. These things clearly determine what's considered to be what? Traveling, even if it's only 5 miles outside of my city. So let's make an example of this. If I come from Philadelphia, I could be without traffic, in 5 minutes, I can be in a different state. I can be in Camden, New Jersey, across the Ben Franklin Bridge, the Walt Whitman Bridge, the Betsy Ross Bridge. I'm across the Delaware River, I'm in a different state. And it only took me what? No, you can't eat, you're not traveling. I'm not from Camden, I'm from Philly. The people from Camden are going to say, we're not from Philly, we're from Camden. But it's clearly a difference. So that goes to show you that that bridge, that toll, that distance, that mindset is traveling. It's not based off of mileage. So anything that's considered a trip is a time in which you're allowed to take the concessions and the things that are lawful for the traveler to do. Shortening the prayer, combining the prayer, making the nafila prayer, sitting down, not facing the qibla, breaking the fast, etc. Wallahu alam.
Sister?
Wa yakum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
What you know when you said like if there's any guests coming over and you like have to like taste your food to make sure it tastes right, wouldn't that be like breaking your fast?
No, breaking your fast is eating, drinking, or having sexual intercourse. Tasting the food is neither of the three. You have some soup, you have some tea. You, for argument's sake, because you may not have to taste it, you may not have the recipe down pat, but for argument's sake, you taste it, you spit it out. If you ever study tea, they're professional tea tasters. Professionals, trained professionals. They work for tea companies. They go through 100 cups of tea at a rapid pace and they don't swallow one single drop of it. They're just tasting it. They're not eating or drinking. So no, just because you taste something doesn't mean that you're eating the thing, you're consuming the thing. It's a huge difference. Let alone the niyyah, right? The intention. And what could be worse than you offer your guest something that's too salty, or something that's very, very, very bland, or the tea isn't right, it doesn't taste right. That's going to be a problem. And these guests, they have a haqq over you, let alone cooking for your family. What's important is that's the fatwa of Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhuma. That's what he said. Wallahu alam.
You have a question?
Yes. If somebody calls you bad names and things of that kind, and they keep on calling you, you're like, oh no, I'm fasting, but they keep on calling you that, and then they mention something that's none of their business, like something about your family, and then you lose it and start fighting them. Is that considered breaking your fast?
Very good question. Jazakallah khairan. If somebody keeps abusing you, they keep instigating, antagonizing you, whatever the case may be, and you snap out, does it break your fast? No, it doesn't break your fast. Fighting doesn't break the fast. Cursing doesn't break the fast. Backbiting doesn't break the fast. It lessens your reward. It can take away from the light of your fast, nur, but it doesn't invalidate the fast. The fasting is only invalidated by those three things: eating intentionally, drinking intentionally, sexual intercourse intentionally or unintentionally. Scholars differ on that. and anything that takes the place of those three things. So even if you fought somebody like a fist fight, it doesn't break your fast. It's unacceptable behavior, but it doesn't what? Nullify your fast. Wallahu ta'ala alam.
Expound on the fact that if you forgiveness and fasting, say if you accidentally drink, something like that.
Accidentally drink?
Drink and then you remember.
The Prophet ﷺ said Allah gave you food and drink. So keep fasting. If you eat or drink out of forgetfulness, it was a gift from Allah. And as soon as you remember, you go back to your fast. And that like I said about forgiveness, right? Remember in the beginning of the class? We were talking about forgetfulness being the problem with knowledge, right? See how it's all connected? It's all connected. And it goes to show you the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Prophet ﷺ said that Allah gave you food and drink. Take what Allah gave you and keep it moving. Don't overthink things. Wallahu alam.
Sisters have any questions?
Nah, Mahi.
Go ahead.
Can you help me understand, help us understand? It's about waswas, doing the salah, doing the tadawih in particular. When the thoughts come to your mind, doing the salah, and the hadith where you spit your lips to the left side 3 times,
Okay.
and that being the shaitan that, and how it ties into being Ramadan and the shaitan is locked up in the chains.
Understood.
The shaitan is on your left side.
Clear, crystal clear. With regards to waswas, in and outside of the salat, in and outside of Ramadan, in a hadith that states that the shayateen, the devils, the demons are locked up during this month, etc. The scholars of Islam, they have different understandings of the hadith that states that the shayateen are locked up. The correct view is that they are locked up, it's literal, but only the malicious ones, the real evil ones. And the minor ones are still loose. The minor ones are still loose. And some scholars, they say that what's meant by the shayateen being locked up is that the believers don't have, the believers aren't harmed and annoyed by them like they normally would be. They don't have the ability to spread mayhem and havoc on the believers like they normally would be because there's so much good. There's so much positivity. But the first interpretation, the literal interpretation, is the correct interpretation. But it doesn't mean, under any circumstance, that every single shaitan is locked up. Doesn't mean that. Number 2 is that there are other reasons behind distractions, behind waswas, behind problems in the salah. And sometimes, and this is scary, it's actually you and not the shaitan. So you keep sinning in the month of Ramadan, you keep behaving the same way, it's scary. And now you come to the realization that either your own nafs is calling you to that evil, or the shaitan has conquered you. You don't have to call you, you're a customer, you're a subscriber. You understand? Automatic subscription. You get the notification even when you don't want it. You guys with me or not? They send you the magazine. You paid already. So the shaitan, the evil shaitan are locked down, but you keep doing the same bad deeds. Now it's time to really look yourself in the mirror. But it doesn't mean that all of the shaitan are locked up, let alone the fact that there are other reasons behind distractions in the prayer. Some distractions which may totally take you from the prayer, and some distractions which may lessen your prayer, and the difference between fighting those distractions versus giving in to them. And this shows us the virtue of making the perfect wudu, making the 2 rak'ah, and not speaking to yourself, meaning that you fight yourself to prepare yourself not to have those thoughts. And from the things that helps you to concentrate in the prayer and avoid waswas or avoid whisperings or distractions is preparing for the salah by avoiding idle talk when it's time to pray. And that's when Allah Azza wa Jalla told us that the believers are successful, those who have khushu' in their prayer, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ. And Allah says those who turn away from idle speech. So there's a secret and a connection between the 3 pieces. Success, khushu', and avoiding idle talk, meaning pre-game, the prep. So if you're talking, laughing, joking, if you're thinking about things, if your mind is wandering before the salah, 9 out of 10 times, as soon as you pray, your mind is going to what? It's going to keep wandering. You're going to keep thinking about idle things. Versus the thought is coming in, let me cut my phone off. Let me walk away from fulan or fulan. Let me get my mind, what? Just like sports, right? Sports, you have to get your mind in gear to play. It's not a game, it's not a joke. It's serious. I have to prepare myself, my warm-up. وهكذا. والله أعلم. وإياكم.
The second part about the speaking.
Yes, that's an authentic hadith. With regards to the shaitan and his name and how you فَلْيَطْفُلْ عَنْ يَسَارِهِ ثَلَاثًا. Hadith says, let him spit lightly on his left side 3 times. That's sunnah. In the salah, no doubt about that.
That don't mean no real spit. That means
Nah, it's not a hawk spit. There are many different issues like this wherever it comes to ruqyah, reciting the Quran.
right.
On yourself, in which there is the wind with a little bit of saliva. Wallahu alam.
1 second, inshallah. What's your name?
The sister's trying to ask a question.
Huh?
The sister's trying to ask a question.
Okay, let the brother right here. Go ahead. You can hold his hand.
I'm listening, Hakeem. If you do what?
Swallow your spit.
No, that's okay. That's all right. It's not eating or drinking, but you're trying. Don't keep doing it. But it's just natural. It's normal.
Sisters have a question? Question from the sister? Question from the sister?
Yes, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
What's the best regimen if you're an overthinker? When you were talking about the ill-guided precautions and like overthinking, what you would do, what's the best regimen for
The
that?
best regimen of conquering overthinking is ask Allah to give you peace of mind. Make dua first and foremost. The specific duas for sakina, for calmness, for serenity, and general duas. Allah calm me. Allah, please allow my nerves to settle. Secondly, a big part of overthinking is your sleeping habits. The foods that you eat, the people that you hang around, the profession that you have, what you do, adds to you being an overthinker. And let's say for argument's sake, you're just naturally an overthinker. My advice to you, my regimen, is to at least curb the overthinking. You may not be able to get rid of it. You may not be able to remove it. It's who you are, but at least curb it. At least have it in check, in boundaries of what's clear. Look, I clearly locked the door. I'm not thinking about it. Maybe I did, maybe my money, maybe my purse. I remember pressing the button. And make for yourself, inshallah, rituals and habits that prevent you from thinking that you forgot. Khalas, we got to stop here. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Inshallah, we'll close it out at this time, inshallah.